I remember N.O.R.E back in the early 2000s. I remember N.O.R.E. I used to like his music in the early 2000s. It was very catchy, you know. Wouldn't say I was a fan, but I always thought N.O.R.E was a cool rapper, you know. And he kind of, shifted out of the mainstream. I would say him. It was him and Capone. They were a duo, right? It was Capone and Noriega, right? But over the last recent couple of years, he's shifted into the podcast lane to where now he has one of the most popular podcasts out right now, which is Drink Champs. Drink Champs is one of the most popular podcasts out there. That is why Kanye West being on there and saying what he said is a big deal. And the thing that I want people to know is I want people to understand that N.O.R.E did not have to have Kanye West on his show, but he did it anyway. Yeah, definitely get the likes up. Like a lot of people in here peeking, trying to see what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to be as great as I always am. What's up, Raining Woman? Shout out there. What's good, Derek? N.O.R.E decided to have Kanye West on his show. And now N.O.R.E is explaining, apologizing. He's going on tours. N.O.R.E, come on, man. You knew what you were doing when you put him on there. You should have knew that it was going to blow up like this. Now, maybe you didn't think that you would get the pushback that you're getting, but come on, man. When Kanye West, mentioned the Jews, the way that he did, even though I'm going to say he didn't say anything derogatory towards them. He just mentioned them in a way, again, I wouldn't be sitting up here talking about the Jews. Jews ain't never done nothing to me. But Kanye West ruffled feathers, not only with that segment, that group, but also with Diddy, who actually is basically Revolt is his network. He's the figurehead. It's his network. So N.O.R.E should have known. Now, unless N.O.R.E got the okay from Diddy, maybe they felt like Kanye wasn't going to say anything about Diddy. I don't know why he would think that. Kanye is like Donald Trump. When you give them a platform, they're going to say whatever they want to say. They're not going to conform. They're not going to, script what they say. They're going to speak the way they want to speak. I find it interesting how Trump spoke out against Kanye West, and that's because I think Trump felt like Kanye West disrespected Jewish people, which is very interesting. Very interesting. But you got to look at the ties of people's families and associates and their love of Israel. It puts everything in perspective, right? The love of Israel. No, he basically said F Diddy, and basically was it F Diddy and F Meek Mill on his own network. That's what he said about Diddy. And I believe he mentioned Meek Mill sleeping with Rihanna. Ooh. I was very close to making a video about that. But I'm like, why bother? Why bother? I mean, at the time, they both was probably single, so, But, Kanye West is on one. People thought that all of this with Kanye West was about Kim Kardashian. No, it is not. It was about Kim. I think the situation with Kim could have been fixable, but Kim, I think, helped make it worse. But I don't think he's doing this because of Kim Kardashian. I think he's doing this because he genuinely feels like he has to. You know what I'm saying? Now, with N.O.R.E going on this apology tour, once again, bro, you brought him on your show. And I believe Kanye wasn't going to go on his show unless he was able to say what he wanted to say. And that is true, Manny. You can't blame N.O.R.E. And I'm not pointing fingers and playing the blame game, but I am asking the question, bro, why are you apologizing for something that you okayed? You okayed Kanye West coming on your show, and you okayed this show being put out, knowing what was going to be in it, knowing the heat that Kanye West was already dealing with. Now, honestly, if you really look at the show, what did he really? Okay, the George Floyd situation. Let me get to George Floyd. Now, I'm seeing that George Floyd's family sent they are basically saying I believe they're either suing him or sending him a cease and desist about what he's saying. He's saying what he said about George Floyd. Listen, I don't want to talk about this whole George Floyd thing. George Floyd is no longer here. The only thing about the George Floyd situation that really bothers me is how people are deifying a man who basically was a criminal, people. We can never forget that. This guy was high when he was arrested. Let's be real about this. You got the family that's upset. And listen, I understand you lost a family member. You don't want somebody like a Kanye West going on these podcasts saying things about people, say about your people, right? But George Floyd has a history. He has a history. We can't ignore that. He robbed a pregnant woman. We cannot overlook that. There are people who want to act like that didn't happen. But but you got these same feminists and these male feminists that will attack a man like a Jordan Peterson or Andrew Tate over their opinions. They've never harmed women that we know of. They try to say Andrew Tate harmed a woman, but apparently that's BS. You got men being canceled because of their opinion, but y'all are deifying George Floyd, who actually robbed a pregnant woman. Daily News says Trump refuses to condemn Ye for his. Well, that was my theory about why he spoke out against Kanye West. Because I'm pretty sure they share the same views on George Floyd. I am not going to deify a man who commits an actual crime against a woman. I just don't, even if what happened to him, right? That was bad. It really is. Kanye West is talking about fentanyl, but we looked at the video. That police officer knee was on that man's neck. It was on that man's neck. We can't unsee that. That happened. That guy was convicted for it, even though he's trying to appeal it now. But I'm not deifying anybody who has done what George Floyd has done. But Kanye West spoke those things on that same podcast that they reviewed before they put it out publicly. There was even a bust of George Floyd put up in the park. Then the day of the celebration, there was a shooting. That's why I tell y'all, man, black people, we are our own worst enemy. I know y'all don't want to hear this, but we are. We are our own worst enemy. We want to blame everybody. A lot of you weak black people, you will blame white people for everything, but the vicious crimes that I'm seeing black people commit, we're committing it against each other or against others. It's hard to blame this person, these people, these white people, when I see black people do vicious things to each other every day. And the thing about George Floyd is that it's a very taboo topic. It's a very taboo topic. And I understand the family being upset. But, Candace Owens, she put up something where she talked about how when George Floyd lost his life, right, the family did not even go to his place, his home, to go and get his belongings. They just left it there. They just left his belongings in that place. They didn't take anything to keep for sentimental value, none of that. They just kept it there. And Candace Owens put that out because the George Floyd's family is threatening to sue Kanye. Good luck with that. But I feel about Candace Owens. I don't feel anywhere about her. I'm indifferent to Candace Owens. I don't dislike her, and I'm not one of her followers. I like the fact that Candace Owens speaks her mind. I like the fact that she's exposing BLM, but there are things that she says that I do disagree with. Make sure y'all like the stream. We are in here live. Salute to everybody that's here this afternoon. Listen, if y'all keep showing up, liking the stream, and sharing it, I may do more afternoon live streams. I actually prefer afternoon live streams. You know? But back to George Floyd. According to Candace, they didn't even go and pick up his belongings out of the place. They just left it there. And then you got Steven Jackson going in on Kanye West. You know, Steven, I'm checking in Jackson, right? Steven didn't even go and pick up his belongings out that place, man. All these people are just talk. That's all they do is talk. All they do is talk. All these Negroes do is get on here and blame Kanye like he harmed the black people. Kanye West had an opinion, and if you disagree with Kanye West, you disagree with Kanye West. And I think that's what N.O.R.E initially was going to do. I think initially N.O.R.E was going to allow him to say whatever it is he was going to say. He wasn't going to censor him because N.O.R.E is not thin-skinned like the rest of these people. These people sit on these. Shout out to Ramir.
Some folks choose to be voluntarily ignorant and blind themselves to facts. Keep reporting the real Jaye.
Thanks, Ramir. Appreciate that, man. N.O.R.E was like you said, was going to allow Kanye to say what was on his mind. It's called Drink Champs, people. People go on there and get drunk and just say whatever. That's why it's one of the best podcasts out right now. What's really competing with Drink Champs? I mean, Drink Champs can get literally anybody on their show. And Kanye West mentioned how Drink Champs do good numbers when he's on there. That is why N.O.R.E wanted him on the show. And Kanye West knew that. Kanye knew he had leverage and that he would be allowed to be on the show. And let me talk about Parler. Kanye West went and bought Parler, right? I don't know how much he bought it for, but he can afford it. Okay. This guy had $140 million in his Chase bank account. I don't know if he's retrieved the money yet, but when he talked about it, he's like, I got $140 million in that account. You know, I got $142 million at that Chase account. You know what I'm saying? They playing games with me, trying to shut it down. It's like just got $142 million over there. You know, it's all, you know, that's one of my 8 accounts that I have hundreds of millions of dollars in. And he went and bought Parler. You know how Trump has, Truth Social where he can't be banned off of it, but it's also his platform. Maybe Kanye West is going to do the same. I had a Parler. I barely have used it since I first got it. I may, go back in and check it out once the sale is going through and once it's his to see if he's going to, have his own. Maybe y'all can go over there too. But it seems like what he's doing is kind of following what Trump is doing. Trump got taken off all these platforms. He went and got his own platform. Shout out to Kareem.
You can't defame people though. George Floyd family has a case. Express Dep v. Heard.
Well, that could be the case, but Kanye could also point to the evidence that George Floyd was, in fact, high the day he was arrested. So he can always put that out there and say, hey, my information wasn't wrong because he was high. Right? And I don't think he's defaming if that was he did. Didn't he have fentanyl in his system? Now we can agree or disagree or whatever about how he died. But like I said, it's going to be an uphill battle to sue him because he went and did this on this podcast. If he never mentions it again, they really don't, because the whole Johnny Depp and Amber Heard situation is different because Johnny Depp reputation went south. This dude lost a lot of money due to what Amber Heard did to him. The family doesn't lose anything by what except for it damages them psychologically if they're still hurting from George Floyd's death. But in that situation, Johnny Depp lost his career basically because of Amber Heard. That's real defamation. When you lose your livelihood, your career, your reputation is ruined like Johnny Depp was, he had no choice but to go to court. And didn't the George Floyd family say that, didn't they get paid from the police department there? Yeah, he had a lot of fentanyl in the system. Right. So Kanye West isn't wrong. He did have fentanyl in the system. So that's not made up. Like people saying it's lies. That's not lies, people. It was there. I wonder, do they still have that money that they were paid out? That's interesting. I wonder if they still got that money. I just think this whole situation is a much to do about nothing. To me, N.O.R.E apologized and didn't have to. All N.O.R.E had to do was not air the episode. Or really go ask people. But again, N.O.R.E sees himself as independent. He sees his Drink Champs podcast as independent of Revolt TV, and he found out that it's not. I am 100% against censorship. But unless you're going to have your own platform like Alex Jones have, these are certain things you're going to have to be careful of. If you're basically working for other people, you're going to have to be careful of what you post, or you're going to be on an apology tour, just like N.O.R.E is, when he really didn't even have to be on an apology tour.